Hey, Jim Cam here. I own and run a franchise business with over 100 locations only in the Montreal area. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to be a excellent restaurant operator or restaurant owner. So let's start with the first. So in order for you to be a good operator yourself, you need to make sure you have the required skill set. First, the ability to put in the hours and also the ability to learn, and more importantly, the ability to communicate with your teammate and staff. Those are the three main keys to be a good operator. So let's break down a little bit more. You have to understand that in restaurant business, there's only two major costs. First one, food cost. Second one, labor cost. So if those two main costs are well managed, for sure, profit wise will be extremely good. And how do you make sure you have a good food cost? You need to be very diligent with how you manage the order of your supplies and also keeping the freshness and the rotation. So this way you will minimize all the losses and maximize the profit that you can get. And secondly, labor costs. Basically what it means is the ability to train staff, the ability to give direction. So managing people. That's the key. So just imagine in this way, being a good operator to manage food cost is understanding the food itself, which part can be maximized into using without any kind of waste, and also maintaining the freshness of your own supplies. This requires a little bit more attention for yourself and the manager if you plan to delegate a little bit of your work. But my suggestion is just make sure you understand every part of the game into managing the food. So the second big cost that you have in restaurant business is labor cost. So how do you make sure you have a very efficient labor cost? So let me just explain to you a little bit about how the restaurant works. We have the opening shift and most likely the evening shift. And the opening shift, usually there's a lot of preparation into the work. So probably could require a little bit more staffing in order to make sure that they can run efficiently during the nighttime, which for most restaurants is the busiest hours. But in between those two shifts, there's dead hours. So if you can have a way to manage people to just skip those dead hours, then you will have a little bit more savings on the labor itself. That's just a quick example. And then for business rush, you understand that people only eat during lunchtime and also dinner. So make sure those are the time that you can get the most out of your employees. And outside of those rush hours, make sure you don't waste any unnecessary staffing for just keeping the image of the restaurant, because it's not really necessary, especially for the kind of business that I'm running. From what I understand, ever since I've been running the restaurant for over 12 years, is we focus on takeout and deliveries that do not require a lot of staffing inside. Most of your clients, they really just consume during lunchtime and dinner time. Now I'm gonna talk to you about how you can actually increase the sales of the restaurant. Acquiring new customers is gonna be very hard, but what if all your customers consume a little bit more? So just make your customer consume 10% more. So now you can have a 10% increase from all your existing customers. It's very easy. Just propose if they want a drink. That's how McDonald's did it. That's why they created Trio. They say, hey, we realized not a lot of people order the fries or the drinks. So what if you just created a special for them to order 2 out of 3 and get the third one for free? Make sure your customer can come back a little bit more often. So instead of coming back 9 times a month, how about 10 times a month? So now you just increased another 10% of your revenue. As you understand, acquiring new customer is very costly, but the fastest way and the healthiest way for you to do it is just to make sure the customers are happy with what they're consuming. So just propose something more, and also make sure they love the experience and the food, and they can come back a little bit more often. You understand that word to mouth marketing is the most efficient marketing ever, and also it's at no cost. So you make one customer happy, it has the potential to bring you even more. So you just slowly start building on those. What I just mentioned is building relationship with your customer. It works also with your neighbors. That means other businesses around your restaurant. Imagine you give them some good products, some good discount for their own customers. You ask them to refer it to you, and the other way around. You can build a serious relationship between you guys. The point I want you guys to focus on is really on the people that are office workers around, the residential people, and probably even, like I just said, the business owners that are surrounding your restaurant. Those are the people that will always come back to you more often compared to attracting tourists or people from further around. So the reason why I mentioned about cost control first and after boosting the sales is because cost control is a valuable skills that you need to learn as a business owner. Because imagine you just start focusing on boosting the sales, you see the numbers coming in, but there's no control on the back end. That means probably no profit or even losing money. So you have to understand that there's a lot of fixed costs in the business because you run a physical business. There's the rent, all the other fixed costs that are slightly lower, but the main ones are food cost and labor cost. If you got those 2 points well controlled, and then adding the third one, that is boosting the sales, now you will have a very healthy business structure that could help you scale to the next level. That's why after being a good operator, you can be the good owner and potentially a good investor. So after being able to master those key points, this is where most of the franchisees start scaling. They open the second location, third, even up to 10 now. We have teams that runs over 10 locations, but it could not be done if they don't master the initial standard. I hope this video was helpful for you guys because I hope you understand how important it is for a store operator to manage those costs in order to scale. I will give you more step by step on how you can scale the business in the next videos. See you guys.